And it doesn't look like Frankie will be using a GX attack at all today.
No, he is 100% single prize Pokemon. There are no two prize Pokemon in there, no GX, no EX. So it's, beating Frankie, it's going to be a pure, true six prize game. You are going to have to take six Pokemon from Frankie to win this.
And I wonder if at any point in time that Regirock Ninja Boy combo that Jason talked to us about will ever come up.
If it's going to, I think this is the match it might, because Frankie can hit it with those shurikens.
Ooh, he actually started a Rangaroo.
And there's the Bridget.
And we see that Frankie started the Sea Cucumber.
Yeah. Pyukumuku, which is an interesting choice of a tech in the deck. I think it's in there mostly just for the ability, just something, to kind of force them into taking 6 extra damage for killing that Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. There's no need for Frankie to ever move it. It allows him to set up while sitting behind something.
Yeah, absolutely. And, in a really dire situation, if Frankie's feeling lucky and wants to attach water energy, that continuous tumble theoretically has no limit to its damage, but it does rely on consecutive heads, and with the very 50, you have a 50% chance of doing absolutely nothing if you flip the tails in that first one. So it's a very high risk attack that I don't think we'll see. I believe Frankie's just going to use the stall, but Jason's like, what is this?
And you see
the
Jason
smirk
go
on his
down
face.
and read it.
He's like, what am I playing against?
Oh, Field Blower. Actually, Splash Energy on the Sea Cucumber.
Yeah, so Frankie's gonna get that Sea Cucumber back when it gets knocked out, which means that he's gonna be able to force that damage again. Very interesting strategy, honestly, and I think if Frankie has a slow start, I think we're gonna see some continuous tumble going on in this match. I think.
Oh wow! And now we're looking at if they want to touch the Sea Cucumber, 120 damage.
If it's a knockout. If it's not a knockout, they're only going to take the 60 from the bursting balloon.
Oh, does the Sea Cucumber have to be knocked out?
Yes, the Sea Cucumber has to be knocked out in order for the reflective damage. But Jason does play that Hex Maniac as well, so he can actually bypass that added damage.
And we see a Tails on continuous tumble. And is he going to Hex, or is he going to end?
I think if I'm Jason, I think it's too early for the Hex. As much as that Sea Cucumber is annoying, I don't think attacking for damage right now is something he needs to do. I think he's going to probably pull that Oranguru back with the free retreat and Geomancy.
No, he's going to smash the Froakie.
All right, that's a good thing too. If he can keep those Froakies off the board, he can run this game.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Frankie really has to get a Froakie evolved into the stage 1 Frogadier in order to get the water duplicates off to really make his deck take off. Without that, Frankie will be to avoid a pun, or not to avoid a pun, but he's gonna be dead in the water.
Yeah, definitely going to be in a tight spot. And again, we see no Froakie, no heads on the continuous tumble.
So this is a pretty fortunate start for Jason. He's in a good position right now. He's taken prizes against Frankie. Frankie, strictly speaking, doesn't have anything meaningful going right now. And he's gonna capitalize on this, and he's gonna go ahead and he's gonna take that knockout on the Sea Cucumber. Frankie gets it back thanks to Splash Energy. So we see Frankie knocking out Jason's stadium with the.
We finally see a Froakie.
And there's the Ace Trainer. That's going to knock Jason down to just 3 cards in hand. That's another card we really haven't seen a lot of.
It became a pretty big staple in the Greninja deck over the past couple months. We see the Alolan Vulpix, which could be big, but it's kind of late.
Yeah, you really want to see that Alolan Vulpix on the first, maybe second attack will turn.
Oh, and here comes the cucumber.
It hits a heads. And another heads. And a third heads. And that cucumber just smacked that Xerneas for 120 damage with 4 consecutive heads.
Oh, yeah.
That's like a free prize for Frankie.
The cucumber is putting in some work.
As cucumbers sometimes do. So we've got the Lysander from Jason onto the Froakies, really trying to keep those Froakies beat back. He does not want to allow Frankie the chance to get a Greninja. Stopping Greninja is going to be a key for Jason, unless Frankie can just continue to flip heads on that continuous tumble.
Yeah, I mean, the continuous tumble could put in a lot of work. And we're getting some Go Jason and Holy Cucumbers in the chat.
Yeah, Holy Cucumbers for sure. I mean, who thought that card really had a place in this format?
No, nobody. Nobody.
Well,
Except for Frankie.
Frankie Durso did. And I think Jason's going to quickly become a believer here if Frankie can pull that off again. So we do see the N. That's going to put Jason down to 4 and Frankie to 5.
I don't even 100% know what's going on right now. Like, Frankie's got a Starmie that's ready to attack, and it's retreating at least, and maybe we'll see some water duplicates and finally get a Greninja show.
Yeah, I do think we are going to eventually see the Greninja show start here.
For a little bit, it looked like a poor man's water box.
Yeah, it really did, and it was kind of working in a way too. So we do see the
Super Rod from Jason puts back a break and energy and Xerneas.
Yeah. In terms of the long game, Jason has got to be able to stream those Xerneas breaks in order to keep up with Frankie. Right now, he has slowed Frankie's game, but Frankie's game is about to take off in the next turn or two.
Oh, yeah. And if Frankie... We saw Jason debate on an end there, and I don't know if giving Frankie more cards is really where you want to be. Oh, here comes the cucumber.
And Jason took his third prize.
And Frankie's shuffling back in a couple of Froakies, and he's going to Brooklet Hill and get one right back onto the bench. And then he's going to end. Yeah, cards like N and Ace Trainer are really good in Greninja because you're almost always playing from behind in the early game. So being able to keep your opponent's hand size down gives you the ability to eventually eclipse them in the mid game and finish strong in the end game. Oh yeah, it's those type of cards that take the card advantage away from your opponent are really big for the Greninja deck. Because you're usually much slower to get set up, and one of the slowest decks, hands down, in the format, so for you to have time to set up is key, and cards like N and Ace Trainer help you do so.
So
continuous tumble.
We got
1,
2,
3. Oh,
90 damage from the cucumber again, though. That cucumber is doing some serious work. It was only 1 heads off from taking another knockout.
And if a Rangaroo actually hits and knocks out the cucumber,
it's going to die with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a lethal cucumber. So we see another break, or a break up from Jason. And we got the energy attachment turn, and yet another break.
This could be real big.
Yeah,
could be a real big turn for Frankie if he gets to take down the Oranguru, somehow gets to set up a knockout on something, and the giant water shuriken
2 times to knock out a bunch of energies off that Regirock could be huge.
Yeah, that's gonna. I think that's really gonna be a key for Frankie at this point right now, because Jason does have a big prize lead. He does go with the mutual knockout, but that puts Jason down to just 2 prizes left, and Frankie still has 4. So Jason does have a big advantage right now, in that he only needs 2 more knockouts. But Frankie is going to be gaining some momentum here with that first Greninja break to hit the field, and he's got a Sycamore that I think is going to get played, and we might see a couple more Greninjas hit the field before his turn's over.
The only downside is that he can't get more than 1 breakout this turn.
No, and I do believe that we probably won't be seeing the Cucumber anymore this game. So I apologize to everybody in chat who really wanted to see the Cucumber run the show. But there
only one Cucumber.
Only 1 Cucumber. So we see the end again, just making sure to penalize Jason for his prize lead. Fortunately for Jason, though, the Xerneas deck is a deck that can function very well on very little. So it's not going to matter a whole bunch in the scope of the next turn or so what he actually has.
And we see Jason down to 1 card. But if he can build up another Xerneas, this could be real big. Like, it's almost over already. And Frankie, I'm not sure what Frankie has left in the tank right now.
Best he can do is hope to buy some time.
I'm not sure what the shadow stitching did for Frankie there.
It would have cut off any chance that Jason could drop another Lele and perhaps pull a Lysander, which is a big enough risk. So Jason does hit the Greninja for 100, not enough for the knockout. It looks like most likely we're going to see is a giant water shuriken, probably to knock out the active. He'll force Jason to choose an active. Although we could see the double giant shuriken onto that Regirock as well. But the Regirock's only holding 1 energy, but it is holding that very key experience share.
Yeah, but as long as the Xerneas is knocked out with the ability and not the attack, EXP share doesn't work.
That is an excellent point. So, yeah, Jason would lose the 2 energies there rather than just the 1.
And Frankie's gonna give everybody some cards with N. And Frankie hits the splash energy. That's not really the energy he needed, but...
There goes the field blower, removing the tool from Tapu Lele.
And that's the only one it removed.
And what an interesting choice. I guess since the choice bands are really a non-factor in this game, that's probably a smart move, given that Frankie doesn't necessarily know what Jason's packing. A tool that he knows is no use is better than a potential for a tool that could be useful.
For sure. And now we see that knockout. And we see Frankie get back some energies. And he could he potentially knock out this Xerneas too, or is he 10 shy? I think he's 10 shy.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
And this could be over for Jason.
Yeah, he's sitting with looks like a... What's that? The Ninja Boy. That Ninja Boy is not going to do him a lick of good right now. He's going to take the Lele off the field. Maybe... Another Xerneas. Alright.
He has to get something going, otherwise he's just out of it.
Yeah, he does have the attach there. Brooklet Hill just to search his deck, give it a little shuffle.
I believe Frankie's only at 2 prizes, and if so, this game's over.
And I think Jason's body language is kind of confirming that as well. He's looking for options, and I think he's discovering that he might be out of them. So he went with the Geomancy to get more energy on the field. He knows that he's going to lose the Xerneas break that's up front, and he's going to actually go ahead and. Okay, I thought he was making a different decision there as well, but. So there's the Shuriken that we knew was coming.
And now I'm pretty sure that Frankie just knocks him out.
No. Second energy on that Xerneas, but I don't know if it matters. Going back in for Geomancy again.
Unless Frankie has 2 prizes and I can't tell.
That may be. In which case, Jason still has an outside shot to pull something out, but he's going to really need to get some cards in his hand on the next turn. Specifically, he really needs an out to a Lysander.
I don't think that he has any outs. With 2 water energies in his hand, all Frankie has to do is giant water shuriken, retreat giant water shuriken, and oh, that's why he has the other yeah, prizeless.
Okay, so yeah, each player is down to 1 prize now.
And unless Jason can find,
And Jason just pulled an N off the end, which is
and that's it.
no good. So looks like Frankie takes game 1. Interesting matchup and some surprise damage from Pyukumuku, the sea cucumber. We saw a couple of tails initially, but then he hit for four heads for 120, and then followed up with another 90.
Yeah, the cucumber is real. Cucumber is real.
I mean, that produce really produced, and it absolutely it propelled Frankie to his win. I think that the knockout that it took and the trade that it made with the Oranguru actually made a difference in that matchup.
Went with. That's what you went with.
Yeah, that's where I went with it. Man.
Okay. Just making sure I heard it right. When your produce actually produces, folks.
Speaking of produce, our producer just left the room laughing. I think he's nearly in tears. So while our players are
keep that one in your pocket. It's a silver bullet.
Players are shuffling up, getting ready for the second game here. I just want to take a quick second to plug the store. So once again, Kirwan's Game Store, Catskill, New York. It's upstate New York. It's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful store. If you're ever in the area and you want to come check it out, come play a game or something, this is an absolutely great place to come do some gaming.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's they do a bunch of great stuff from leagues and league cups and league challenges to. I think they have a draft every week, too. So, any type of gaming you want to do, Pokemon-related, Yu-Gi-Oh! Related, Magic-related, I'm sure they have a day where you can come up and enjoy yourself. I know they also do, like, Warhammer and some of the other miniature games as well.
Oh, yeah, they've just got everything here. And a huge selection of, board games and card games and just about everything gaming-related you can imagine. So... Looks like the players have got their starting Pokemon, and we're ready to start the second game.
Oh, no cucumber this time.
Yeah, no cucumber. Although I think Frankie is happy to see a Froakie in the starting position, and Jason is probably less thrilled to see that at Oranguru right now, as he really wants that Xerneas for the quick start. So we are gonna see the end from Jason, which is gonna take away the extra card that Frankie picked up off of Jason's mulligan. So that's at least numerically a good thing for Jason. Alright, so we see the Xerneas hit the field. The Max Elixir succeeds. So Jason still has his regular energy attach available, which goes on the Oranguru. He's got holding a break in hand. I think he may be holding a Sycamore in hand too. So it's not a bad turn for Jason.
Ultra Ball, and you see Frankie automatically discard that choice band that means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he recognized based on the first game that choice band is highly irrelevant. The only thing that it can be relevant against in Jason's deck is the Tapu Lele, which honestly is not something that Frankie really needs to focus on anyway. It's kind of a non-threat to him with his low energy needs. So we do see the Burst Balloon go on the Froakie. It's a pretty typical strategy in the early game for Greninja decks that actually play that card.
Oh yeah, definitely. The only bad part is that the Oranguru can take a knockout on that Froakie. And it kind of leaves Frankie in like this weird spot. Unless Frankie has the Frogadier and I just missed it.
Oh, and he's gonna go ahead and take the one with Splash Energy, which is probably the safe play in that he's gonna
remove that energy from the board.
And he avoids the damage. He still gets his prize, but Frankie does get to keep the Froakie thanks to the Splash Energy. But actually, it looks like Frankie opts to ditch the Froakie on the Great Ball because he knows he can get that Frogadier, and he's going for the Sycamore. If Frankie were to whiff the energy on this, that would be very, very bad.
If Frankie also drew a bunch of the Frogadiers, it could have been real bad as well.
Yeah, because that would make the water duplicates considerably less useful. But Frankie does hit the Rescue Stretcher, so he does get the Froakie right back. Water duplicates going now. He's got one. He's got two. So he gets two. Looks like the last one is probably going to be amongst his prizes.
Gonna double check one more time, and it is indeed prized.
Still, it's a very good start for Frankie. Getting those Frogadiers as early as possible is definitely a key for Greninja. Jason's in a better position than he was last game at this turn as well. So it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. I think we're going to see a lot more prize trade early and not just from a rampaging Cucumber.
But the Cucumber was pretty happy doing his thing.
I think the audience kind of enjoyed the Cucumber as well.
It definitely seemed that way.
Yeah, as one viewer said, succumber to the Cucumber, which Jason absolutely did in the first game. So some real hype there. That card's not half bad.
Frankie's got a nice fistful of energies, it looks like, and that's about it.
Yeah, which there are times where Greninja loves having a fistful of energy, but this right now is not the moment that Frankie wants to see a whole bunch of energy. So we got a third Xerneas hitting the field for Jason. So he opts to play the experience share down on one of the bench Xerneases. Oranguru takes the knockout. But again, the Splash Energy saves the Pokemon, so you see the Froakie get evolved into the Frogadier, and one of the Frogadiers moves up to Greninja.
And now we see two Greninja, and that's really where you want to start being. And I would think that Frankie goes and gets the Staryu at this point. Wow, the Vulpix.
That's an interesting choice. And he's going to go ahead and he's going to Beacon this turn.
Which is very odd.
Yeah, being this far set up, I'm really surprised to see the Beacon play. I mean, he hasn't actually used the attack yet, but I can see no other course of action given that he's retreated into that.
At this point, yeah, there's no...
Yeah, that's a really interesting choice. And if Jason can find an N after he uses that Beacon...
Actually, this could be pretty big for for Frankie right here to get a Greninja and a break. And have the 2 breaks that are able to move back and forth and stack up 120 damage at a rip.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what I would call a make or break situation for Frankie.
Oh yeah.
And very similar to the first game, Jason is taking an early prize lead, but Frankie is quickly gaining momentum and is about to start exploding in the next turn or two. But Jason is a lot better set up than he was in the previous game, so Jason's going to be able to sustain the attack far better than we saw in Game 1. So it's hard to say right now how this is going to play out. We do see the Fairy Garden go up, and Jason retreats the Oranguru into the Xerneas break, and he's taking the knockout. But again, that splash energy is just, it's saving all that Greninja stuff. And Frankie just gets to play it all back down.
Frankie needs to start taking knockouts soon, though.
He does. Jason's got a nice, healthy 3 prize lead at this point. There's the field blower, takes out the stadium and the experience share.
Which is very big.
Yeah, it is big. Jason does run 2 experience shares. There is one more hiding in his deck somewhere. If he can get it out on the Regirock, that would be great for him. If he can't get it out, Greninja's going to start outpacing him pretty quick here.
Yeah, eventually Greninja will just get the 2 breaks set up and be able to move back and forth along with dumping giant water shurikens everywhere.
And we see Frankie working the hand disruption again with the Ace Trainer, dropping Jason down to 3 cards. It does look like Jason pulled an Elixir of VS Seeker and maybe a Choice Band. So not a terrible hand for Jason. He's got some options there. He definitely likes to see that Max Elixir, especially with a low hand that contains some energy. His odds of hitting an energy are much better. He also just pulled a Lele, so he's got quite a large number of options this turn. So what he chooses to do here could really impact things. So super odds for 1 energy. Looks like a judge is verifying that he has no other eligible cards in there. And he's going to go ahead and Max Elixir, hits that energy right off the bat, attaches to one of the bench Xerneas there. I mean, obviously, Jason's got more than enough to knock out Vulpix, so he's going to go for a Line Starter and go for a real threat. He's going to aim for that Greninja. And this one does not have a splash energy, so when this one's gone, it's going to stay gone, at least for now. It's not going to go straight back to Frankie's hand.
Oh, yeah. This is kind of where Jason's starting to turn that corner and kind of pin Frankie down.
Yeah. He just took away the possibility of the double giant water shuriken on this turn.
Yeah, and Frankie really needed to set that up early game against this deck, I think. And without being able to do that, it's almost impossible to beat the Xerneas deck with the Greninja deck if you're not able to get some water shurikens up and running and actually start shadow stitching and knocking stuff out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and really, Frankie did honestly luck out in the first game, I feel. Because as much as we joke about it, I really do think the cucumber KOs were critical.
Oh yeah,
they came down to the final prize for both players. So there's no question that cucumber in the early game, amazingly enough, made a difference. When we were talking about this deck list prior to this round, we kind of joked about that card a bit, but it came in big in game 1.
Yeah, it definitely put in some work, and now we're seeing the opposite side of it now, where the Greninja deck didn't really have all its pieces fall into place. Yep. So we're seeing it kind of struggle with the more consistent deck of Xerneas.
So Jason takes his 5th prize. Now he's got about as commanding a lead as you can have in Pokemon. 1 prize left to 6. Frankie does take the 1st prize there now with the giant water shuriken. And it looks like he will, well, if he can catch an energy, he'll be able to take another knockout as well. But I don't know that's going to be enough. If Jason can find a break, this will be over.
Yeah, it seems like Annichiarico is hands down in a commanding position. Like it's not even close. Feel like Frankie is just about over for this game.
But it is worth noting though that we still have about half an hour left. So what will likely be a 3rd game is going to have plenty of time. And when we get to that point, this match can really go either way because the amount of setup that each deck requires. If one deck outpaces the other one in the early game, it makes all the difference. So Frankie does take that 2nd knockout as we expected. And we've got the VS Seeker coming now from Jason. Lysander onto that Vulpix. He's got the DCE, and that's going to be it for the game. So we're going to be going to Game 3 now. What do you think about this matchup, Tom?
I think that it shows how actual 50-50 it really is. If the Xerneas deck gets set up and is actually able to start knocking out the frogs before they start doing their shenanigans, then it's clear cut that the Xerneas always comes out on top. If Frankie has some time to stall, maybe sit behind the cucumber, the bursting balloon, and actually get time to build up and do something like we saw in Game 1, then it's very easy for him to all of a sudden step up his pace and be able to knock out, 1 to 2 Pokemon a turn, and all of a sudden he's taking any deck and taking it from a 1-to-1 prize exchange to I'm taking 2 to your 1, and he's just going to outpace you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the bigger thing with the taking 2 prizes in this way is he's taking out 2 Pokemon. So he's taking out 2 energy sources, which can cripple the Xerneas if Frankie can get to that point early enough in the game.
I mean, in Game 1, we saw him take out 2 Xerneas with 2 energies apiece, and lose 3 energy in 1 turn is very big.
Yeah, that absolutely hurts because Greninjas and Greninja Breaks are not a small target. Greninja Breaks got a hefty 170 HP, which means that Jason needs 9 energy on the field to take out a Greninja Break. So it is a big deal if Frankie can limit Jason's energy, and Jason is always going to be seeking to prevent and stop Greninjas before they break. So we do see a pretty ideal start for Jason here. Starts with the Xerneas, got the energy in hand, he's got the Bridget. So Jason's going to get a really nice start here.
It looks like Frankie's start isn't too bad. I can't really make out what's in his hand.
Yeah, I don't know if he has a draw support, but he does have an attach. He's obviously got the Froakie up front. I've seen a Lysander and a VS Seeker, so he's definitely got the makings. He has got the Burst Balloon, which Froakie's or Greninja decks really do like in the early game, although against the Xerneas right now, I don't know that that's really a factor, as Jason's going to seek to Geomancy a couple turns.
Did Frankie go draw pass?
I think he did, yeah. Which we didn't even notice at the start.
No, I didn't.
We just thought Jason was playing first, but yeah. So Frankie really did start with a very dead hand, but he does have the Frogadier up now. He's got the energy, so he's gonna get the water duplicates up. Unless Frankie's got a couple prize Frogadier, this is gonna help him accelerate a little bit.
Something that worries me is that we didn't see Frankie, and now he's doing it, but that first dive ball, we didn't really see him look through the deck too much at first to even know what was in there for water duplicates.
Yeah. But he did find all 3 of them, so he's got all 4 Frogadier on the field now, which is really good for Frankie.
Oh yeah, this definitely is like this is that fast-paced Greninja deck that you're used to seeing. Now, it's weird because both these players play the choice band, and the only one it will ever really matter for is if Frankie drags up a Tapu Lele.
Yep. But they attach those cards, though. They get them out of their hand so they don't end up back in their decks on the ends. Just the last thing you want to do is be pulling dead cards, especially when you're Jason and Frankie is ending you or ace training you every single turn.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And another big thing to mention is that Frankie only plays one Lysander. So, if he's going to have like a choice band style turn, it's got to be a good one.
Choice band on a Lele. A few moments ago, we did see Jason attempt to attach a double colorless to the Regirock, but Frankie reminded him that he had already attached for the turn. So some of you may have noticed that.
And it looks like he just Geomancied again.
So it's a good amount of energy hitting the field now for Jason. He's up to 6 energy on the field. We know that he's holding a double colorless, so he's gonna be at the point where he can start doing some damage, and really he's gonna be at the point where he's gonna want to start doing some damage. So he's gonna be looking for that break on the next turn, I think, to take out that active and just start mowing through those Greninjas.
And I think in the same swing of things, Frankie is, I would think, would be desperately looking for some more Greninjas.
Yeah, Frankie's got to be able to string those Greninjas so he can get at least 2 of them to break. If he can't get 2 Greninjas to break, I don't think he wins this matchup.
I think it becomes almost like a 80-20 in favor of Jason if there's no breaks.
Yeah. Without the breaks, the Xerneas is going to fast outpace that Greninja. So we do see Jason dropping the Lele, picking up the Sycamore after the cut. I think we're going to see Jason go ahead and play that Sycamore. And right now, I think he'd really like to find his Fairy Garden. I think he wants to retreat that active out because he knows that that Frankie's not going to be able to break on the next turn. So I think we just saw a Super Rod recycling 3 Fairy Energy back in, so Jason knows he's going to be able to Geomancy if he decides to go that route. And it's going to help his odds on this Max Elixir, but he whiffs on the Max Elixir.
Which is fairly big. I don't know if it helped the math at all, but I'm sure it would have down the road at least.
Yeah, absolutely. He did catch the Experience Share, which he's got sitting on the Regirock quite safely now. He is spreading his energy around intelligently because with Greninja, you cannot just pile your energy on the Regirock because Greninjas, once they do break, they are going to bust your Regirock.
And it's almost...
Frankie does get the second Greninja down this turn. He is holding an Ultra Ball. I think he might be kind of debating what he wants to do with that. He doesn't have a lot of cards to play with. He's going to go after Jason's break. But he's just he's going to do the 80 to it. And Jason gets another go here.
But I believe Jason's almost at the point of just one-shotting Greninjas.
Yeah, at this point, I do believe Jason can just start to run the board as long as he can keep throwing Greninja breaks up there. He'll be in good shape.
Frankie desperately needs
so we see the
a
Ninja
supporter
board.
of some sort right now.
And Jason discovers that he does not have what he wanted in his deck. He has to put the Lele right back down. I think Jason was looking for a Xerneas and it just wasn't there.
Now, this is real big if there's a break here. Because with a break... Oh no, the break doesn't knock it out. He needs to get 2 breaks.
Yeah, which he can't do this turn.
So he's going to be able to hit this Xerneas. The EXP share is going to activate. He's going to be able to move an energy off and onto the Regirock. He's going to promote something and most likely knock out this Frogadier next. Greninja next. And that should probably be about game if that's how it happens.
Like I said, so we do see the break come out. But Frankie really desperately needs to get a second Greninja up, because if Jason can take out that break and Frankie can't answer with another Greninja, I don't know how much it's going to matter.
But that giant water shuriken, oh, and in the Starmie, that's pretty big for Frankie.
Yeah, the ability to get those energies right back. So we do see a double knockout that turn from Frankie, which is huge because best we can tell it, Jason's remaining Xerneas might be prized right now.
Oh yeah.
So Jason's having to go to Lele as an attacker, which is really rough. He did just now get 2 Xerneas and a break back into his deck, but if he can get to a VS Seeker to get that Ninja Boy again, he might be able to do something with that. But otherwise, Frankie's going to start gaining some momentum here, I think.
Well, he desperately needs it at this point.
So it looks like Jason's kind of going all in on the notion of attacking with Lele right now. Does a rather sad 60 damage since the Greninja left no energy on itself. This is a bit of a tough spot for Jason right now.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward. But I think you have to attack, like, all the time. There's not much else you can do. It's not like the Oranguru would have made a difference in math or anything like that. It would have just been 60 anyway.
Yeah. But both players are really not in the best of positions. Frankie would really like to be seeing more Greninjas on the field right now, and that's not happening for him.
I don't know what it's going to take, but he needs to see some Greninjas real soon.
Yeah, because if Jason gets a hold of an Ultra Ball, he has a VS Seeker. He could Ninja Boy into Xerneas and then break it, which I think we're about to see actually. I don't think he's ready to break it just yet, but no, there it is, and there's the attach. There's the hard retreat on the Lele, and we're gonna see a knockout here on the Greninja break, which is a big turn for Jason, because Frankie does not have a good answer right now, and his hand is looking pretty dead.
Oh, it's that VS Seeker might have been huge though for Frankie, if there's something for him to actually play in there.
I think if nothing else, Frankie's probably going to use that VS Seeker to reduce. No, he's going to hang on to it. So Jason's going to just start taking prizes here. Yeah, he's like, okay, I'll take your Starmie. You still have no Greninja, so this is looking very bad for Frankie.
And again, I don't know what Frankie could actually do. It looks like it might just be over.
Yeah, that the meaningless leaf blower there. Sycamore from Frankie. I think he's just playing it out like a soldier at this point. I really don't believe there's anything he can do to stop Jason from knocking him out in the next turn and just finishing this.
I don't think so either, but Frankie is a long-time veteran of the game. He's gonna make you do it.
He is recycling everybody's favorite Pokemon there, Pyukumuku, the sea cucumber. Now we have a dive ball.
Cucumber.
I wonder if maybe just for show, if maybe he'll bring the cucumber out one more time.
And try to continuously tackle?
Hashtag show us your cucumber, Frankie.
No.
No? And the cucumber comes out once more. So Frankie's going to put on a good show for us here.
So apparently, upon request, the cucumber just appears.
And we do see Greninja hit the field, and he is attaching to the cucumber. Choice band. He's gonna go for it. We see the tails though. The cucumber just could not show up to the game this time. That was just a blind hope. He was hoping for that cucumber magic one more time.
And I'm pretty sure he has the VS Seeker for the Lysander and kind of just put Frankie out at this point.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Yeah, he's like, I don't want no part of your cucumber right now, Frankie. I'm just going to knock you out, thanks. We do see the N knocking Jason down to one card, but it really does not matter. Even with a cucumber miracle right now, Jason still takes, very likely takes a knockout on the next turn, because all he would need is an attachment. We are seeing a little bit of cucumber magic again, though. 2 heads only, but so that's it. Jason advances on to the final. Great matchup though. It was exciting and it was different. It was a lot different than what we've seen all day.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that little cucumber.
Yeah, the little cucumber that almost could. Definitely made for an interesting show.
It's definitely something interesting, and I'm sure Frankie will hear all about it.
Yeah, no doubt Frankie is gonna hear about the legend of his cucumber.
And apparently the Helix fossil has been replaced by the cucumber.
Works for me. So I think we'll yeah, you know what? We're gonna bring Frankie in for a rare kind of parting interview. Maybe let him talk about the choice of including the Pyukumuku, because it really is a different choice, and interestingly enough, it worked. It really worked for him.
Yeah, it was definitely an odd selection, and but it turned out real good for him.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna talk to Frankie since we've already talked to Jason once, and there's a fair chance we may talk to Jason again after the final.
Yeah,
he's got a strong deck.
There is a chance that Jason is down here for our winners interview.
Yeah, so we'll see, but yeah, we're gonna be joined by Frankie here in just a moment. So, if anybody has a question for us, or you want us to ask Frankie in a moment, get that in chat real quick here before we get him down here. Do keep it a topic appropriate. We don't want to probe the cucumber issue a little bit too hard or anything like that. But so we got Frankie entering the studio now.
Okay, guys, what's up? How's everybody?
Hey, how's it going, Frankie?
Tough loss there, man, but congrats on top
right,
4.
Thanks, guys.
Congrats.
Right.
We love the choice of including Pyukumuku in the deck. Can you tell us the logic behind that?
Pyukumuku with Greninja, you usually don't get set up faster than your opponent, so you want to have like cannon fodder Pokemon. In this case, I wanted to just complete the objective of just getting damage in play. And then with Pyukumuku, he just sits there and he has like that really laid back attitude. If you damage him, okay, fine, he'll take 60. And if not, I could, just wall and eventually get a Greninja break and play cards like Ace Trainer to, take advantage of the prize deficit. And then he does his little job, takes 60.
Yeah, in that first game, you had that beautiful 4 heads
Yeah.
4 heads roll, and then you followed it up with a
Yeah.
3 heads. You actually did some work in that first game for you. I think it kind of won the game for you in the long run, because it came down to the last prize, and the exchange you got off of it was good.
I was just talking with my friend Danny upstairs. Even with 1 heads, it's good damage because it translates into 90. If you do just 1 heads, it's 30.
Right.
And if they KO them, that's 60. So 6 plus 3 is 9, and 9 damage on the field already.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you've got the burst balloon on them too, it's even better.
The thing with Greninja is your main focus is to get out the Greninja break. So, if you don't have it by like turn 2 or turn 3, you just put up Pokemon who could absorb a hit or search your deck, and that's the purpose that I wanted to go with this deck. Just take the slow and steady route to get the evolution out.
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel Vulpix was for you today?
Vulpix is really good. I like it because no energy and you get to search for 2 cards. I know being able to search for multiple Greninjas in those times is really helpful, and I think it's going to really shine even more when we lose VS Seeker. That way I don't have to worry too much about them playing like a Guzman or taking away their hand to get Guzman back with a VS Seeker. It could do more like Pyukumuku could do, just wall and get more life to get Greninja into play.
Is there anything you would have changed about your 60 today?
No, I'm not going to Worlds, so this was really I put in the cards like they were still legal. I was actually going to just play like a more for the next season format just to get some more practice with the new standard when we lose all the good VS Seeker and Lysander and stuff like that. So this is what I'm playing with for pretty much the next season to come.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I think you really just hit an unlucky matchup in the top 4 here.
Yeah,
because it seems like you had a pretty good day.
Yeah, I had a good day. It was a good matchup. Jason is a great player. I know him from back home in New Jersey. He's a really good guy, and he deserves to be in that top cut more than I do because he's a really skillful player, and he's going to prove that he knows his stuff, and he's going to get those points and get his invite this year as well.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah, thanks for coming down and
Thanks,
talking
guys.
to us, Frankie.
Thanks,
Congrats on
Thomas.
top 4.
Definitely.
And you put on quite a show for us.
Thanks, guys. Kirwan's a great store. It's my first time here. If anyone else out there, pay a visit this place. It's really great. Classic games and great card prices upstairs.
All right. Thank you.
I hope to see you more this year, Frankie.
Thanks, Tom. Take care, guys. All right.
See ya.
So like Green Lantern's breaking into the Batcave, and what does he discover? A cave inside the Batcave.
Caveception.
Yes.
But
They're lip sync
I
battle.
heard she's not even in the movie that much.
What? Well, of course. I mean, it's Mary Jane. It's not Mary Jane Presents. It's Spider-Man: Homecoming. Okay. You know. But I mean, and you score 6 victory points. But while that Flash is in play, the Rogues cannot use their game effect, which is called teamwork. Right. So when I use